Hello, Floss Tube. I thought I would give a introduction to my video, which is about the Stitcher's Paradise in Las Vegas. But first I wanted to catch you up. It's going to be out of sequence because naturally at the end of this video you'll see the Stitcher's Paradise. But I thought I would talk a little bit about what I've been stitching and the haul from Stitcher's Paradise. Okay. So we've been on the road and we've been in and out of Tucson for 2.5 weeks. We are now in Las Vegas and on the final trek home. Looking forward to being back in the Beehive and also to getting up to Portland and seeing my grandkids. But let me show you what has been happening in Tucson. So, excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat. Ribbit, ribbit. No. Okay. Little House Needleworks. I just loved this this little stitch home of the needleworker, and I had it kitted up, so I brought it along with me, and I am doing quite nicely on it. It's I am now building my house. Yay. I got my Magnolia Baby Creates needle minder, cappuccino, on Etsy, and so I'm really enjoying this stitch. Yes. And my Raven's Reply Sal is still at the same spot it is. That's a little more challenging because I need the magnifier. And I do have the magnifying and it works great, but I just am not in the mood for that kind of stress in my life. Although when I see all the ones that are done, it drives me crazy. Now, I told you that I changed my mind about my birthday start. And so I changed my birthday start from the Hawk Runs Shores, which I'm going to start later, to this one, which I saw at Stitchville. I got this pattern at Stitchville, and it was stunning. And it's the perfect time of year to be doing this one. And if you remember, I tried to start in the center. No, can do. No, 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 no. No can do. I have my entire life been a back row person. And in a theater, in a classroom, I need my back against the wall. And hence, when I do my cross stitch, I need to be on the edge. Yeah, so I couldn't do it. But I thought, okay, can I combine the middle with the edge? And so I said, why not? I'll start at the edge in the middle. And once I had to rip out what I had tried to do in the center of it because it just didn't compute. And so I started over, I ripped it out, and I started over, and oh my gosh, I've been going to town now. And so there, I went up to the kind of the center of the chart almost on the edge, and then I was able to start. And I am loving this. I am absolutely, I love this fabric, which was Doubloon, 32 count, I believe, Doubloon. And this is, the thread is Classic Colorworks Fallen Leaves. So I'm having a lot of fun with this stitch now that I have given myself permission to be in the back row again, because I love that. So that's, on this road trip, that's the most that's gotten done. Otherwise, I've been stitching on my wool projects, and I love those. I need to apologize, and I really need to apologize for the video on the West. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was moving around that store way too fast, and I even made myself sick. So I tried really hard on the Stitcher's Paradise to be better and more cognizant of how I was moving through the shop. So let me tell you about Stitcher's Paradise. It is not a huge shop, but there are 3 different rooms in it, and when you first walk in the door, there is a table there where gals get together and stitch. And there's probably enough room for like 6, maybe if you really know each other well, 8. But that's it. No more than that could fit there and stitch. And as soon as I walked in, I ran into a Stitch Roadie subscriber, Brenda, and so that was kind of fun to like, oh wow, I see, that's the thing, no matter where you go, you know somebody. But even though that shop was not large, it was packed to the brim with samples. Oh my gosh, it was just packed to the brim with samples. And in one room they also do needlepoint canvases, but in one of the separate rooms was all the linen just on shelves and shelves. It was kind of overwhelming. I mean, I really showed my ignorance in this shopping trip because I had my X Stitch app and I was looking for a couple of cross-stitch linens. You know, I'm so used to Janine and Jolene at Acorns and Threads looking at my pattern and saying, you know, you only need a piece this big. And so they will cut down chunks for me. Stitcher's Paradise, well, I don't know if they even do that, but what I do know is I had on my X-Stitch app that I needed a specific color, but in my mind I didn't write down what that was for, and I didn't know how big a piece I needed, and I didn't want to tell them. I had no idea how big a piece I needed. You know, I mean, I'm Stitch Roadie, you know? I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And so I just gave them the name, and I said, so what's the smallest amount I can buy? And so they so I got a 1/4 yard. Well, let me tell you, a 1/4 yard of linen, I'm going to have to hitchhike home. It's a good thing that G has no clue of what linen costs. And I have no clue. It's kind of like that silk thread. I had on this list that I needed this winter brew, but I don't know what I needed it for, and I didn't know how much. I didn't put that on my shopping list. So I bought the smallest amount I could, which was a 1/4 yard of winter's brew, which means that I bought this freaking big piece of linen for probably a little house stitch. I mean, I don't know. I think Houston, we have a problem. Yeah. Oh, it's so pretty though. So I have this, I don't know what it's for, and I have a freaking lot of it. A freaking amount. I have a freaking amount of winter brew. Yeah. At least they put it in nice little plastic bags so it stays clean. And then I saw this sample, and I had to have it. Yeah. design. Yeah. And the sample they had was this box with, let me see, this box, the shaker box with the little crow thing. Midnight Ride, Blackbird Designs. I tell you, that Alma has been a curse on my life from the get-go. Yeah, I love her, but oh my gosh. You know, there's a little air in this bag of linen, so it makes it look like it's worth as much as I paid, because it's puffed up. Yeah, so what could I do? What could I do? But I bought the box. You know, these shaker boxes, not so cheap. But the gal in the shop told me that this comes in three different seasons. Oh no, like there's only 3 seasons. 4 seasons. And that she showed me how she did the top so that she could pop it out and place each season in there, which means that I need 3 other patterns. Because this shaker box cost me a small fortune. Oh my God. And mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa. It's by Lone Elm Lane. Early Wooden Wares. I mean, it's a beautifully made sewing box. I mean, that's just gorgeous. And so, yeah, I guess I'm going to have to try to find the other 3 to make this box worth it. Oh, and then I had to buy the linen. I had to buy the linen for this box. I want you to see that this box is not as big as my head. You know, this little circle, a quarter yard. Of that linen. Oh my God. I mean, literally, one little piece of, one fourth of this. There's a very dark hole of knowledge in cross stitch for me. Yeah, so I told my friend Karen, I said, I'm going to have to eat my words when I said, oh, cross stitch is so much cheaper than quilting. Run as fast as you can. Yeah. Then, moving on, I saw this pattern on 123 Stitch, I think it was, and I saved it to my wish list, you know, but then I thought I really want to make this for my sister's granddaughter. I don't know when I'll get it done, but it's by Vintage Needle Arts. It is just the sweetest, because she is just so cute. And it says, there, can you read that? Dream big, little mermaid. Dream big. I have to stitch that for her. It just reminded me of her. It's so gorgeous. So, luckily for me, though, I didn't, in a fugue state, ask for the linen for this, because I would have bought a quarter of a yard of linen. I'd have to get, you know, that would have been not a good thing. Oh, and look, the designer dedicated this design to her granddaughter. Aww. Aww. How sweet. Well, I have to make that. Yeah. Dream big, little mermaid. Yeah. So that was the haul from Stitcher's Paradise. We are making the trek home back to Oregon. I am stitching in Penny, the band, and we are just loving this. It's so comfortable. And by November I should be back up at Acorns and Threads for the November stitch. I can't wait, but I'll probably have another video before then. Yeah, probably, because hopefully I'll have finished something by then. But in the meantime, stay tuned. I'm glad for those of you that have come back. I welcome those who are coming here for the first time. And I hope you enjoy my walk through the Stitcher's Paradise. And hopefully I did better at videoing this shop. It was filled with samples. So I've made it to Stitcher's Paradise. Let's go in and see what they've got going on in here. So there you go. Here's the Stitch group at Stitcher's Paradise. Working away.
Going home.
Going home now, huh? Oh, I gotta go home too.